Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday. We have our latest guest. So today we're going to be speaking with Nazario Sandoval, who is a local artist here in the area. So thank you so much. Welcome on.
I appreciate you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of your work out there. I guess just kind of walk us through how you got into the arts.
Well, I started back from Las Cruces, New Mexico. I
Mhm.
got into art. It just came up like it was like Chicano art and like graffiti. And then I met a lady that worked for a organization called Court Youth Center, and she was like trying to help kids get out of the streets, and she taught us all about galleries and trademarking and just all the pertinent information, the knowledge behind the art. So her name was Irene Oliver Lewis, and she's always been a mentor to me. So she kind of really saved me from the streets and kind of gave us an idea of what we could do with art, and
Right.
just gave us the roadmap.
Yeah, and now I feel like the role now you're in that role and you're out there. I see you working with kids, mentoring kids in their art journey, and kind of doing that same thing.
Absolutely, because if it wasn't for coaches or like mentors or people like her, that I mean, I wouldn't be where I am. And now it's my turn to carry the torch. But she also was like, last time I spoke with her, she was like, "Mijo, I'm getting too old for this. You need to step up." And which I already always wanted to do, but now I feel like once she's kind of said that, I was like, all right, now I'm definitely going to try and get networking going, and
Mm,
try and connect with schools and any youth groups, and I have a
yeah,
lot of things coming up with that. So I worked with maybe 4 schools last year. This year I'm going to surpass that, probably like 10 to 12.
that's awesome. That's really really cool. And I think at one point maybe that's how you and I got connected because I remember reaching out to you. One of the schools, I think it might have been West Mesa High School, was looking for somebody to help the kids with the murals and that type of stuff. So you've been doing it for some time now.
Yeah, this I probably have been working with schools for about 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
And then also whenever I do like any kind of live painting or anything that's art related, and like kids are interested, I'm like, we'll stop what I'm doing and like let them come give it a try, or give them high fives and just make it fun in anything I
Yeah.
do.
So the live painting. Do you still do what is it? The ABQ Art Walk?
I do. I do. I haven't done it as much last year just because, schedule conflicts. And a lot of times
Yeah.
I've been traveling a lot for art, and, I've had a lot of, been working on the Route 66 project for
Mm.
the city of Albuquerque, and then the town of Grants as well. So I was blessed enough to be a part of these projects, and I'm just forever grateful.
Yeah. So you brought up the Route 66. It's the centennial year, and they have these art installations all across the Route 66 Central. And I went to a press conference for the one that they did over here on West Central, but I have yet to still go past by your displays. But you were included in the art installation displays. So how was working with on that? It was a little out of your element, right?
Way out of my element, but I mean the thoughts are there. It's just a matter of like kind of how you put it out there, and like you have to really be very strong on your
Mm.
submissions, and like converting your idea to showing other people what it's going to look like. So I learned a lot, and I actually had 3 projects, and I'll have a total of 10
Wow.
projects for Route 66 as a whole. 3 for the city of Albuquerque, and yeah, just did a lot of fabrication. I worked with my dad on all the projects, so it was kind of like this real amazing like legacy
Yeah.
journey that we went on. And that was really special to me. That my dad, he was a uranium miner, and he traveled the route growing when he worked in Grants, New Mexico. So that's why I have those relations to those
Yeah.
things. And I kind of kicked my ideas around, and they were like, "All right, cool." And then they showed us what I showed them what I wanted to do, and then they were like, "All right, awesome." And then we ended up getting 3 projects, the most out of all the artists in Albuquerque. A lot of them teamed up, and the one on the West Mesa is so amazing. I love that one.
Yeah. So where are your displays?
So I have one at Matucci's, which is like a Route 66 car throne. It's kind
Mm.
of like inspired by King of Thrones. So I wanted to make a New Mexico Route 66 car throne. So we basically cut a car in half and we put this giant shield, and then it has like these gas pumps,
Mm.
and it's like something you can sit at. Like this summer, we're gonna really get it going and like have like photo
Yeah.
opportunities of anyone coming to Matucci's. And then I have one over in the International District, and that was a hubcap theme one. And I worked with Friends of Orphan Signs, and they basically got me the locations because all the old signs from like the hotels and all
Yeah.
that are all historical landmarks. So they can't move them. So now we're turning them into art. And then I did one more over on Wantabo and like in between Wantabo and
Okay.
Eubank.
Unfortunately, none on the West Mesa, West Central area, though, right?
None on the west side. I just really think we need to really get more art on the west side. I mean,
We do, and you're
we're
a
the,
West Sider.
I
Yes.
am absolutely. I have, the Cottonwood Mall, which is I'm
Yes.
forever grateful for. And they actually changed my life. And I have one of the biggest murals I've ever done on the Cottonwood Mall, and then on the
Yeah.
top on the back entrance by the Old Navy. And I have another little spot there, a few more little locations right there where they used to have that art market
Right.
over by that Taco Bell. But I just feel like, yeah, we are so deprived, and I feel like we can do better and try and get more art in our
We
community.
definitely need more art projects. What do you think the biggest challenge of getting these art displays here in the area is?
We just really just need locations, really. I mean, it doesn't require, you know, I don't require a ton of funds because sometimes, working with, my fellow businesses and, companies and places like
Right.
that, sometimes I just, do the mural just for like the cost of the supplies.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just need locations. But yeah, of course, obviously, what else is lacking is funding for those type of projects. But they don't have anything that's like call for arts. They have very limited art galleries here too. So I
Exactly.
feel like we can create what we want to create if we create it.
Sure. I think also too a lot of I think the landscaping of the area they want to keep it with the historical like the petroglyphs and the bosque. I think a lot of it comes from that, keeping things with the same historical theme as the petroglyphs. But I mean, what being creative, what can we do to like kind of blend artwork in with that?
Well, yeah, no, and I agree. They want to keep an aesthetic because it's
Right.
like once you cross that bridge, it's like it's like that calming place when you
Mm.
come to the west side, in my personal opinion. And yeah, I mean, color, all that is related to color. I do a lot of things that are
Yeah.
color based, so I mean, it doesn't really have to be, you know, the same, Zia and Cocopelli and
Right.
the Roadrunner, but yeah, no, I do get it. And then everything is kind of so spread out. It's not like there's like one location where you
Right.
can go and then you can see, oh, like, oh, look at that, look at that. But we do have our little places, anything that's near schools, skate parks, anything
Right.
that's
Parks.
parks. I mean, all those are just normal places that don't
Yeah.
involve that aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's places that make people happy. That's where we should put art.
I think what would a place that just popped into my mind, Ladera Golf Course. Like, there's maybe something because I know that they received a lot. They're a city run golf course. So I'm sure maybe something with the Parks and Recs department would have to kind of beautify. They put a lot of investment into that golf course for renovations, but I can see something because they do have like I want to say maybe it is a Cocopelli or a lizard or something that's painted on there. I don't know if you've seen it or you know what I'm talking
No,
about.
no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, if you go to the golf course, just right as you walk in on the wall, they have some like artwork. So maybe a refresh on that or something.
Yeah,
But
exactly. But yeah, and it's also you got to put it out there. If you don't
yeah,
put it into the universe, it's not going to create itself.
right.
So it takes people like us, people that want to have the next vision, because a lot of our elders are kind of phasing out. Our business owners are kind of phasing out, getting to
Yeah,
the next generation. So we need to connect with those next younger generation, or whatever millennials I guess we are now. But you know what I'm saying? We're
right.
we're the next people that are going to take that to the next part of where
Sure.
we are. in our society. So like, it's like, the older people are giving their businesses to their grandkids or to
Right.
their kids, and those are the people we need to connect with.
So, how do you go about getting work um, as an artist?
A lot of it, through social media, open calls for art,
Yeah.
networking is really the number one thing. It might not even be something today, tomorrow, or even a meeting with you or someone that watches this.
Right.
They'll be like, "Oh yeah, that guy." But yeah, networking is the biggest thing, and just also just making connections in the community, being in the community, working with people's kids, all
Yeah.
those kind of things. So there's many different ways, but sometimes it's just word of mouth.
And so, this is actually something fairly new for you, being a full time artist. How was that transition?
Yes, that has actually been a godsend to me. I last year was my first year doing art full time, and it was a really successful year. So now starting this, 2026, now I really gotta really hone in on how to really get these networks that I have created,
Yeah.
and how to utilize the people that I've worked with or continue to work with.
Mm.
But yeah, just I I'm gonna try and stay out of the cubicle one more year. I'm just gonna aim for a year. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be something that's gonna be a lifelong, but I really hope it is, and I think I can make it happen. But it's just really, you gotta,
Yeah.
when the times are down, you gotta be able to stay up, and then that's really gonna be the sink or swim moment.
Yeah. So, you working in a cubicle, what exactly were you doing?
I've done title insurance for
Okay.
20 years. So you go wherever you sign all the documents for your mortgages, refinances,
Yeah.
sales of homes, all that stuff. So finally, yeah, I just took the plunge because it was starting to get in the way
Yeah.
of my work. And then there would be sometimes I would make more doing art than I would in the entire month of me sitting at a cubicle. But you do have to have that income when you don't have that check coming in every other
Exactly.
week. That's where the scary part is, and especially when you have people that rely on you,
Mm.
like my nephews. I'm their guardian, so I they rely on me for a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I can't just be a starving artist either, because I like to dress nice and
Yeah.
like to eat well, all those things too. A lot of things. There's a lot of factors. As you get older, it's not just, if I was 20, let's go
Yeah.
ramen all day, but it doesn't work like that. Whenever you're over at 40.
Yeah. At 40, I still have some of those ramen days.
Absolutely. But see, you can choose and you can add like chicken to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I don't think you ever get over the ramen, but
Never. But yeah, it's just like, it's sometimes it might not be the right time to be a starving artist whenever you have a lot of responsibilities.
yeah, yeah. No, well, congratulations on that. Being an entrepreneur, it's always scary no matter what field you're in, whether it be an artist or any type of industry, but taking that plunge from working, full-time job, corporate or whatever, to becoming a full-time self-employed, person. It's difficult.
No, yeah, absolutely. But luckily, from all the years of working in offices and working in business, I mean, I just approach it with the business mentality, and then that's really where a lot of people fall very short. You
Yeah.
could be an amazing artist, because there's 1,000 artists that are way better than me, but they don't have the business sense behind it, and they don't know how to push it to where you can create your opportunities for you. And I think maybe we should even have like schools for to help people, like build their business side of
Yeah.
their art too, because I think there's a lot
Yeah.
that's a big piece that people are missing. They can paint in the you know in the in the basement, but once they have to get out and talk to people, it's a big game changer for them. So
Yeah. So, in all that you've learned in doing this, what would be like the biggest piece of advice you would give somebody?
pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Number one, for
That's
sure.
always the number
Because
one.
it's always like you're getting all these 1099s. Trust me, I've been working
They will.
on mine.
They
and
will get you.
I got like 10 of them. So and just having that sense, number
Yeah.
one. But no, just be a person behind the art. And there's so much information out here now. You can watch Gary Vee. Anyone, you could take a little piece of this, a little piece of that,
Yeah.
and you can sell everything online. You don't even really even need to leave the house. But if
Right.
you're creating content that relates to your art and you sell it,
Yeah.
no one's really using the Instagram or the Facebooks to sell their stuff either. Whenever I get low or I need to unload things, I'm putting it on
Yeah.
all my socials, and whatever, it might not be a price that you would sell your work for, but
Mm.
ultimately if I have 30 pieces sitting right here, I have X amount of dollars that I can make, but I can just make it affordable art, and then I don't have 30 pieces, and it gets to go to a good home too. So I think it's you gotta really master how to use your socials as your platform to sell and create, and also give your story out to the world.
Yeah. Speaking of socials, Wemfer, is
Yes.
that how you your username on social media?
Yes.
Just can you tell us how
So
that name came about?
yeah, so that's just like a pen name, like
Yeah.
Slim Shady to the Eminem kind of deal. But yeah, no, it was just like an old graffiti name. So it was like
Okay.
Wemf, and it was just like, and then ER. My buddy used to call me that. So it kind of, when I did my Instagram handle, I just
Yeah.
put it on there, not thinking it was gonna be anything. And now all of a sudden, it's like I have to explain this all the time. My mom's like, "What's a Weemfer?" Like, it's funny though, but it's just like a nom de plume, a pen name,
Okay.
basically.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people they wouldn't know you by your real name. They know you by that name.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just in
Yeah.
Denver and I ran into someone. They're like, "Hey, Wemfer," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was just like at an arcade. And yeah, so totally, it is like I don't know who I am
Yeah.
anymore.
So you, aside from all the stuff that you've done here in Albuquerque, you've been traveling a lot, and Denver is one of the places that you go to do your artwork.
Yeah, yeah. Denver's been a huge place. I lived in Denver for many
Mm.
years, in Colorado for many years. But yeah, so I have like I think I have a bunch of locations that I do,
Hmm.
and I do Airbnbs over there. Just really kind of like just whatever. People reach out just off of through seeing your handle on your artwork, and Rhino Art District has been a place I have like a whole section that I kind of keep up with. So I have to actually go back and do some spring
Yeah.
cleaning. Spring cleaning is what I call it. So some of these spots aren't like paid gigs or anything. These are just personal projects,
Yeah.
passion projects. And then Phoenix, Atlanta. I mean,
Oh wow, Atlanta too.
yeah, a tons of places. Uh, Tucson, El Paso, Las
Mhm.
Cruces. Pretty much I'm just kind of operating out of the Southwest. Anything that's within driving range that's like not 10 hours or more,
Yeah.
I'm going.
How are all these other places, their art communities different? Like if there was what is your favorite place to go that you just love their art community?
Houston.
Oh.
Houston is a place that I really want to get in that market. A lot of urban artists are breaking out of Houston,
Mm.
and I've done some paintings over there. I did some stuff with mini murals of Houston, and also it's just reaching out. Social media sometimes it takes 100 no's to get a
Yeah.
yes, or you apply for the things, but sometimes it's harder because you're not a local. So a
Right.
lot of the opportunities are for local people, but I'll just be like, oh, I'll do it for free, or whatever it is
Yeah.
to open the door. You got to do whatever it takes, and that's kind of been my my door opening. It doesn't work for everyone,
Yeah.
but sometimes you just kind of got to just break into the markets, and I painted in San Juan,
Mm.
and I'm going to do Florida this summer, and I'm just trying to get as many places. Oklahoma this summer as well.
So, of all the projects that you've done, is there one piece that is like you're the most proud of?
Yeah, the Cottonwood Mall
Yeah.
was pretty much one of the. I mean, because I was just doing stuff like live painting and
Yeah.
doing my little mural stuff, but to do something there and that magnitude, it just really kind of, it 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 just set all the dominoes in effect for
Yeah.
me, honestly. And then I just networked with a lot of businesses, and I have like 40 or 50 murals downtown, and like I'm getting close
Mm.
to like 90 to 100 murals in the city of Albuquerque. So and it's just keep networking, and then sometimes not every a lot of it isn't paid. Their locations are just are spaces.
Yeah.
So I use my paid gigs, and I recreate projects, or I or I give other artists opportunities. So like if I have a giant wall, we're working on one on 4th Street,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's a massive wall. So we have like about 30 artists that are on
Oh
that
wow.
one. So we're almost close to completion after like 6 years, 4 years, or
Wow.
something like that. And it's just been an ongoing passion project. So we just give people opportunities. I don't believe in like gatekeeping.
Yeah.
A lot of communities there, a lot of cities you go to, it's all about if you don't know
If you
anyone, you're
don't,
not in.
yeah.
But I just reach out to the actual business owners or like the utility companies, versus trying to go through other
Right.
artists.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the Cottonwood Mall on the west side here.
Yes, absolutely. And then yeah, I'm just forever grateful to them. They really, really, really set a lot of things in motion for me, and I'm looking to hope to work with them again this summer, and just anytime. I mean, anyone that reaches out, I try and at least make an appearance or like do a live painting or
Sure.
there's a lot of little things that create big things.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And as far as the Cottonwood Mall stuff, I know somebody. We could maybe make that happen.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, it's just there's a couple of parts that need some refreshing on it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just and then we need the mall. I mean, a lot of smaller cities are still use malls. A lot of bigger
Yeah.
cities are not using malls; they're Amazon warehouses now. But these places are vital to our community on the west side.
Right.
And not only that, it's a ton of small businesses. It's not like it's just a bunch of
Right.
corporate, big box stores. The Cottonwood Mall is just a huge
Right.
division of tons of cool local businesses, and that's why I love it so much. And then they've given a lot of artists opportunities too, so that's why I highly speak of them. Just because in general, it doesn't matter who's running it, it's always been art driven, since
Yeah.
they've had it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who's the manager, who's running it right now, next year, 2 years from now. It'll always have that fundamental of the art at heart.
Yeah. 30-year anniversary this year, so I know there are some things in the works, and I think it would be great to have an art series during the summer, music, and it's also an event center. A lot of events
It really
happening
is.
in
Yeah,
there.
it is. And that's where I think we're lacking on the west side is locations to hang out. But now I think with kind of like Rio Rancho and like Albuquerque meshing right in the middle, we're getting that
Yeah.
right now too. With like all those like the new area out there. The tin can place. I'm not sure
Right,
exactly
right.
what it's called.
I would love to have. Unfortunately, they're doing it in Rio Rancho area, but like a tin can alley would be great. Well, I think there might have been like that vision for the Nuevo Atrisco, the food truck park on Central and Unser. I mean, that's a good spot too. That community hub there.
It is, really is. I mean, there's a Big Boys barbecue. I go there
Yes, I
just to
love
get that.
them.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love their stuff.
They are one of the best barbecue
I
places.
agree, and it's like kind of like a mixture of like
Yeah.
different fused styles, but it's like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, I'm hungry now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. We'll have to go and check them out one of these days.
Absolutely, yeah. Shout out to Big Boy. Yeah, no, that is a good location, and I think that we are still part of Albuquerque, and I think that we can still get these dollars to
Right.
add things like that. And they are. It's just not, it's got to be, more of a populated type thing. We have like our little groups
Right.
of locations they're so spread apart. So sometimes we don't get that funding and those dollars to our area where we exactly are.
Exactly. Yeah. We're kind of in a fight with, other areas of the city. And for me, attending council meetings, attending all these town halls, it's always, I think people that don't live in the area, that live in other areas that, maybe underserved areas and, fairly so, they do need, resources and stuff. But I think when it comes to the West Side, everyone tends to think, you guys are new, everything's new there, you guys don't need anything.
Right.
So that's kind of the mindset when, in reality, maybe parts of like Northwest Albuquerque, but as you get into like West Mesa, the middle parts of the west side of Albuquerque, we definitely need some resources, funding these types of things that you're talking about in
Yeah,
those areas.
absolutely. Because we have a huge demographics of young people, and we have
Mm,
a huge demographic of, you know, medium, low income. I mean, we have it
right.
all. So it's not just because seems like it's nicer.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, I don't feel like that's what that it means that we should get less. But also, it's like, you know, it's kind of, you got to play the game.
Yeah.
But with you showing up to locations, and you know, you putting out the advocacy for where we live, and then that's huge. Eventually, you just got to keep showing up. It's not going to be today, it's not going to be tomorrow, but if we keep showing up and we make
Yeah.
the changes and we open the doors and tell people, you know, I think that's where it's going to really make the changes that we need if we have to do it.
Yeah. So if we can partner on something where we bring some sort of event to the West Side, what would that look like for you?
Yeah, we could, you know, it would be amazing if we did like, you know, like you know how like they have a Knob Hill Fest, we have a
Hmm.
West Side Fest, you know, and it's like whether it be all cars, and it could be in the parking lot of the mall. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's really a huge space. And then we do like vendors, and we do food trucks, and we do just art people selling art, and maybe like a carnival. I mean, you know, the possibilities are endless with that. And you know, really having something like in the summer, because I know that they really have an amazing thing going on for the balloon fiesta, but we need to
Hmm.
switch that because that's fall. So then we have an event in the summer, and then maybe if we can find, you know, people that want to sponsor us, or you know, and then we can just get a bunch of people to show up. I mean, we have
Yeah.
car shows, there's a ton of car shows, there's a ton of people that have cars that live on the west side. I can see them driving every
Oh,
single
there.
day.
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
where all the lowriders are.
there
I
are.
will tell you though that there actually is a West Fest that happens every year
Really,
with all of pretty much what you just
I have
spoke
not
of.
heard of that.
Were you when you were a kid? Were you in sports?
Yeah, I played basketball, football, all the sports.
Yeah.
But just a sports fan in general. You know, love our football. We love our basketball. You
Yeah.
know, we love our Lobos. We love our Aggies. You know, all those things. So those are just all core values that we were taught. So
Yeah.
those are the same core values that we're going to teach our kids. And you know, we who doesn't love to sit there on Sunday and watch your team play football? And then you know, in the NBA, you watch your finals, and then there's people that love soccer, and I work with the United too, and that's one of our biggest teams here
Yeah.
in the city. I mean, I'm so forever grateful for working with the United too, because they've really have done so much for our community, and you know, all the other stuff, all the other teams that they're trying to bring, and you know, if hopefully one day they can get the stadium, and you know, it's it's one of the best things to do. I mean, in my
Yeah.
personal opinion,
Yeah.
other than the Lobos games for sure, basketball or football.
So speaking of the United, and you just said about the stadium, there's been a little bit of controversy around where they're going to build that. How do you feel about all that? Because they were working on getting it at Balloon Fiesta Park, and then there was rumors that they were going to do it, as part of the redevelopment of the state fairgrounds, and then there was like, no, we're not going to do that. But then there is talks of that again. So what do you think about all of that?
You know, I think it's just very hard for sometimes for cities to grasp that when they're growing. It's like that, you know, it's like it is gentrification, but it's also though people are so stuck in their old
Mm,
ways. It's very hard to get these type of things to pass in voters, and you know, and a lot of these things I think it's just fighting change.
yeah.
It should be here because anyway, if you've been to and all those people that are the naysayers, they need to go to those games and see what it does
Yeah.
for these kids and does for our community. It is basically our pro team, and if we don't, if we put more emphasis on this, then we could have, who knows, our own pro basketball team, any of these things, because we have, you know, the population to have one, but we don't have the resources, and we don't have. It's always a fight for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that that's one of the problems. It's the naysayers that are the people that don't go, and it's more people having their opinions versus like, hey, really, we should be open to trying to create these things to make our city really good.
Yeah. It's I feel that's a lot of my struggle here on the west side and getting developments here is we have a lot of naysayers, and it can be frustrating at times, but yeah, that's how cities grow.
They really do. I mean, in 5 years, the city's going to be unrecognizable. It really is. Whether they're moving the fairgrounds, whatever they're
Mm,
doing, everything's going to change. I mean, nothing is going to stay the same. I mean, I lived in Denver before
yeah.
it changed, and it was exactly the same way. And then soon, all those places downtown are going to be luxury lofts. So
Yeah.
it's coming, and people don't want to see that, but it's here, and you can see if the house prices go from 100,000 to 300 and 400,000, it's here. And with the movie industry and all these
Yeah.
things, and um, it's coming, it's changing, it's already here.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, with Denver, even their pro team is changing stadiums. So I'm excited for that because
Exactly. Well, yes, they're having an amazing season. But yeah, there's always going to be that drawback, and eventually, there will be nothing that they can do because
right.
it's coming, and and then that's just the thing of a growing city. If you want to have all those things, and you want to have sustainable jobs, you want to have all these,
Yeah.
nice roads and clean facilities and all these things. These are all the things that have to happen. Um, People can fight it all they want, but it's coming regardless.
100% has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for your time, for being here. I know you're very busy traveling with all of your artwork, but are there any last words that you'd like to share, or anything else that you'd like to share with anyone listening?
Um, yeah, no, I appreciate you listening. If there's anyone out there that wants some art, now we can talk. But no, if anyone wants to open some dialogue about how we can make things happen on the West Side, if anyone's interested in that, I feel like we could all get together.
Yeah.
We need to be the change. We need to be the change, and that's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely. And how would anybody be able to get in contact with you?
So mostly it's all Instagram or Facebook. Nazario Sandoval on Facebook, and Instagram it's at Wemfer, Wemfer. Yeah, and that's pretty much. feel like if you can't get a hold of someone these days, they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. It's probably a true story there.
It is. LinkedIn, there's so many forms of communication. I mean, even you could Google me and I'm there. So, yeah.
So there you go. Google.
Google.
Google. Do you actually, one last thing, do you play cornhole? Know anyone that's into cornhole?
I played, but I've never played in like a tournament. I've played, with the family out in the backyard. But I don't.
Okay. So, well, again, thank you for being on. Just a reminder, we have our cornhole tournament. Teams are filling up, so you can go onto the abqwestside.org website, click on events. All the information for that is on there. And we want to thank our title sponsor for the cornhole event, Albuquerque ER and Hospital. And again, thank you, Nazario, for being one of our guests, for doing all the great work that you're doing around the city. We'd love to see your artwork, and yeah, we'll see you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.